What's up, everybody? Welcome to the 2300 Gear Jammer channel. I am gonna have to get back to jamming some gears. So to do that the quickest, I'm gonna put my black Mustang back together. And the first video is gonna be the engine stuff, and then the next video will be clutch and transmission. After that, we'll put the engine in and hook up everything. And I haven't hooked a laptop to the car in a couple of years, so that may turn into an issue too. But for now, let's talk about the engine. All right, so this is a stock 2.3 turbo block, and hang on, disclaimer. I'm not telling anybody to do this stuff. This is just the parts that are going in the engine. I'm not gonna get into anything extremely technical. Most people will say that I'm missing parts. I'll get into a little bit of that in just a second. But this is what I'm doing. It's almost a copy of what I've run before. There's gonna be 2 or 3 small changes. I'll hit those as I go through the parts. Nothing major, probably not enough to make a difference. But at some point, I'd like to at least run the boost that people say that I do. So hopefully that's the next year. But let's get to the parts. All right, like I said, stock 2.3 turbo block. This is a stock factory crank with no work done to it other than it is cut 10-10. And I thread it for 7/16 20 ARP flywheel bolts. And the cylinder head is a factory iron head. Nothing aluminum probably on my car ever. This one was done by Beauport. It's an old stage 4 from way back. For the cam, if you look at the cam degree video, you can see the specs on that. Pistons are, typically I've just run the Stinger Performance shelf piston. Like you just get on the website and get the piston that's in stock, typically. And the difference this time though, the top ring is a 1.2 millimeter on the shelf piston. I've upsized that to a 1.5. It may not matter. I'll tell you what. I'll put the sheet up for the piston that I've been running up to this point. This is the shelf piston. And then here is the new piston, and I'll highlight the difference so you can see that. And the connecting rod is a stock length 5.2 rod. This one's aluminum, aluminum GRP. And don't think of it as aluminum being light. That's not the point. The point is just some softer material to help keep the stock crank alive. We're going for durability there. Oil pumps. Here's a factory oil pump. It's an aluminum housing. I've really destroyed some distributor gears and auxiliary shafts with that, so we'll avoid that. And then your 2 options are an M127 and an M86E. In this case, I'm going to run a 127 for this build. And other stuff. The timing belt stuff is an Eslinger wide belt kit and aluminum crank pulley. I can't remember who made that. I think that's Racer Walsh. And Eslinger timing tensioner. Homemade water pump plate. Oh, the water outlet's just for a 5.0 that I flipped over and slotted the hole. Head and main studs are ARP, and there's no main caps. So that's one. No billet main caps, straps, girdle, windage tray, or crazy oil pan. I'm gonna run stock studs, stock caps, stock crank, factory oil pan with a baffle. All the rest of it, either I didn't have the money the first time I did it and it worked anyway and I got lucky, or we're just gonna go with it and try it again. One thing that'll upset people is I'm gonna run a cork valve cover gasket. I don't know why people get upset about things, but and some brand new, it's not great. Look at that. I'll run a stock plug too. Those are, oh well, we got a few extra boxes of them. Those are going in the Ranger. I guess the last thing is the head gasket. And this is just a stock 8993, the regular replacement gasket. And I take the fire ring out. I cut this hole back just about to the blue paper. And the reason I do that is this block has a 25,000 groove cut in it. The copper-based ring locks in there, and then there's a groove cut in the cylinder head that matches the one in the block. So you set the head gasket on, and then with the dowels in, the biggest problem is with the dowels in, all these rings, it's really hard to get lined up. So the first time I did it, it took hours to get the cylinder head set on and locked in place. But once it's on there, you pretty much don't have to pull the cylinder head off. The oil pan will fall off before the cylinder head needs to come off, so that's handy. Oh, this block is, it's got hard block filler in it to the bottom of the water pump hole. The other engine was up to the water, about where the bolts are, I think. That's one difference. Hopefully, this was going to be a street engine. Hopefully this doesn't become a problem. It might, but we'll address that when we get there. That's pretty much it. I'm going to do some fittings, get some stuff on the outside, get the crank put in real quick, and then I'll have some more room to work. Yeah, let's go. Oh, one more thing. At some point in this video, I'm going to put up all of the part numbers, every single piece of everything that that would make it where you could just put things in your shopping cart and buy that stuff. So we'll throw that in the video. Leave a like, comment if you have a question, and okay, now let's go. All right, so at the beginning I said the ring thickness has changed. I also went from the gas nitrided, that's the shelf piston that Stinger sells as gas nitrided top rings. These are a stainless steel top ring coated with C33 chromium nitride, and it is, these are going to be gapped at 30 thousandths. So I'm going to gap the top and the second ring at that. I'll put that on the spec sheet. And I did the intro with one piston left out, and I got to get these clips in. I may end up throwing this thing across the road before it's all said and done. I had to go see my neighbor on the last one, and he was like, yeah, you just put it in there. And then he popped it in, and I was trying not to stand there and cry. But I took a seat and got comfortable in case this takes a while. I did it. About 2 minutes that time. And you can see the locating pin for that bearing as well. Yeah. Alright gang, I'm up to putting the cylinder head on, and like I said before, it's kind of a pain because you got to line up the dowels and the rings, the sealing rings. Side note, make sure you measure the length of your dowels. People that do cylinder heads will send you shorter ones most of the time, so just make sure your cylinder head will sit completely flat and not hang up in the dowel. And I'm going to spend the next however long it takes putting the cylinder head on. So here we go. I always write a goal, some ET on the top of the pistons, and that's as close as I get. I don't talk about goals until I'm pretty sure I've either already done it or I know it's going to happen. So I'm going to write something on here and I'll video it, and if I ever hit that goal, I'll add that to it. All right, good luck. Part numbers. we go. I did a quick cylinder leakage test just to make sure those copper rings aren't grossly leaking. Once the thing is in and run through a couple of heat cycles, I'll pull those plugs out. And usually if I pull the plugs out, I'll do a cylinder leakage test because I rarely have the plugs out and it only takes a couple of minutes. So I'll do that. Next for this thing, I haven't decided if I'm going to do it now or once it's in the car. I know the cam timing is pretty close, but I'll probably degree the cam. I may wait till it's in. But I'm going to have to go back and watch the cam degree video to make sure I remember how to do it. Somewhere in the middle, and then closing to 50 thousandths here. So you need the point in the middle. So you take all these pieces, 24. That's it for this one though. Leave a like and a comment and tell your grandma, and hopefully this helps somebody with the part numbers at least. And that's it. Next video we're doing more fun stuff. Bye!